Hi guys, good evening and welcome to the analysis session which is for CountDownClat 3 which was conducted this weekend. I'll be joined very soon by Siddharth Mehta sir as well, but he'll take another 5-7 minutes. He's stuck and so he'll be joining us very soon. In the meantime, I'm going ahead with the session. Before I start the session, there are some things which are very, very important, which I'm going to talk about today. Before we begin the analysis, we look at the data like we do every time. I'm sure you enjoyed this mock, no doubt about that. The performance speaks. Most of you have done really well in this mock, and but we'll look at the data very soon. Now, before I talk about the performance of the students in this particular mock, let me talk about a few important aspects which I just hinted about. First one first is to understand the dates. Now, it is very important. We already know about the dates for the two examination. Number one, AILT. AILT has already, NLU Delhi has already blocked the calendar smartly, and they will be conducting the exam on 7th of December. Usually, we know that CLAT does the exam on first Sunday of December. Now, this has been taken by NLU Delhi. So that leaves us with the possibility of CLAT happening on 30th November. It may happen on 14th November. I'm sure they'll not plan it on a weekday because that's the time they would also understand that there are pre-boards at that point of time. Most schools will be conducting their first pre-boards at in the first week of December. They'll start around that or maybe second week of December. So hopefully consortium is less likely to take the paper to 14th of December, which is still a Sunday, but that's between the two slots of symbiosis. Your symbiosis also announced the SLAT examination has been scheduled for 13th and 15th December. So two big announcements have already come. Phoenix is saying why and Elliot Delhi why. So see what happened is probably I believe they blocked the date because they might also be waiting for the consortium, but this time consortium got engaged with the CLAT 2025 results, which got delayed actually. So they were busy taking the admissions. In the meantime, I think they moved ahead and announced their dates. So NLU Delhi, ALED 2026 on 7th December, which is first Sunday. SLAT 13th and 15th. You can give both slot, you can give one slot. My suggestion would be don't rush to fill the application form. Anyways, IELTS form will be coming out next month in August, but don't rush to fill the application form. Wait for the announcement for the CLAT 2026. Hopefully this month it will be done. Generally, the forms would release earlier by July first week itself, 3rd or 7th, they would release the form. But we know is bar delay ho chuka hai. They are completing the admissions for 2025. Hopefully next week or by next to next week, there will be some announcement by at least for the dates. If it happens on 14th of December, why I am saying you not to rush ahead, because the reason is very simple, because SLAT will not be, all the SLAT centers will not be in the same city as CLAT. CLAT will have larger city, a number of list. The list will be bigger in CLAT. More than 99 cities they cover through for their examination, while SLAT will be limited to some 20-25 cities. So you'll have to plan it accordingly. Even if you do it on Sunday or do it on the Saturday one, which is 13th, or the 15th one, which is a Monday, आपको plan करना पड़ेगा. You'll have to plan it out. So don't rush till the CLAT announcement happens. Anyway, SLAT application closes in November. So my suggestion is wait till the consortium announcement. The other big announcement is about the biggest event of the year, which is known as Race to NLUs. Okay, so the race is already heating up. You now would realize that you are writing two mocks in a week. Now that's how the schedule has been designed. You are moving closer to the examination, time to test yourself, time to finalize your strategy. And to help you with the same, we are coming out with our marquee event, which is Race to National Law Universities, which is about acing your CLAT and AILT 2026. And what does this session is all about? So the session will run in 3 phases. Phase 1 is on 20th July, and this will be completely an online event. All students of CL-LST, whether you are a test series student, whether you are an online class student, whether you are a physical classroom student, all of you will be attending the session live, and this will start sharp 9:15 on 20th July and will end around 4:30. We'll give you a 20 minutes lunch break in between. That would be the shortest lunch break you will have. And this session is all about strategy. This will help you build your own strategy. So we'll have master class by our experts, which will include Rahul Reddy sir, who happens to be All India rank 3 in CLAT 2024. We'll have Prasann Kamath sir. We'll have Siddharth Mehta sir. You all know he'll be joining us very soon. We'll have Vishnu sir, who also managed to get CLAT India All India rank 50 this year. So all the experts will be coming up together for this session, which will be like talking about how to score 80 plus. That is what we are aiming at, minimum 80 plus, how you can score in next 4 months preparation as well. And this time there'll be a very much surprise in how will you approach the legal reasoning section with reading the passage, without reading the passage, how you can maximize your score. So we'll be talking about all this very soon. On 20th of July, whole day event. This will be followed by offline event across the country. We'll be coming to some 35 cities, and we'll be doing the offline event, and that will be continuity from the online. So we'll be pick one. Yes, this is for all LST students. Even outside students can join. They will need to pay a nominal fee of 48 rupees to join, and this will be not happening on your regular Zoom platform. This platform is completely different, and hence will not be able to. This will be a completely new experience for you, but this session will not be recorded. The entire day event will not be recorded. So don't assume that you'll get a recording later on. I'm giving you warning here itself. कोई रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं होने वाली है इस सेशन की. That instruction has gone to the team which is developing the platform. So attendance is quite mandatory, and then we'll be coming to 35 cities across the country to conduct this, and finally doing the finale in October. So this is one of the event which students wait every year, and this time for 2026 starts on 20th July. So all the students log into your My Zone. You'll see the screen on top itself. Before you see your prep tools, just click on the register now button and you will be registered. What will happen? This register button will capture your registered email ID on My Zone, and that is the only way to join the session. Okay, so with that note, I'll go ahead. I'll start the session. While Siddharth sir joins very soon, I'll start the session. So we'll look at some of the statistics of this mock. Now somebody is already asking, why I got 83, my percentile dropped by 14%. Why? Because this mock was easier. This mock students have scored very, very well out there actually. So quickly setting the agenda for the analysis now, we'll definitely look at the score of the top 100 rankers so far in this mock. And we are talking about the data of 1,532 students at this point of time. Today, some of the mocks came, some of the OMRs were received late in our office, so they'll be scanned tomorrow. So I've not been able to take that data. So this is about till 3 p.m. online. Of course, all data has been captured. The OMRs have been captured, and that total right now is 1,532. Will easily cross 2,500 by tomorrow. So that's what I'm talking about. So we'll take this into consideration, and within that, we'll talk about the performance of the top 100 students. Then we'll move on as usual to sectional insights, where we'll be talking about attempts accuracy. This time we do not have difficult questions to talk about, but yes, Siddharth sir will be picking a couple of questions, and he'll be definitely talking about that because there are some medium difficulty level, but we'll look at that actually. And we'll talk about the action plan, what you should be doing now, because now you have less than 5 months available, actually. So, okay, so this is the agenda for the session today. And let me proceed, and let's see what has been the performance in this mock. If I talk about the top 100 students so far out of 1,532 whose data has already been captured. Now, this is what the average score in this mock has been across the section. English, for the top 100 students, the average score is 20.67, quite good, I would say. GK, and this time the reading effort was higher because this time the number of passages were increased. Now, why this was done? A couple of things I would like you to understand. You may criticize it, but let me put my point forward. Number one, first of all, we don't know whether consortium will be there or not to conduct the CLAT 2026 examination. We don't know as of now. Let me be very frank. And why I'm saying so, because when the CLAT result was delayed, the last hearing, when the ruling was announced by the Supreme Court, which was accepted by consortium, the Honorable Supreme Court also made Government of India a party to the petition, and they told them to come back with their response why this is happening, why every year there are issues with the CLAT, and why there is not a permanent body instead of this consortium. So we don't know अगले इस साल के लिए consortium अभी होगा नहीं होगा, we don't know. क्या होगा, हो सकता है कि कुछ changes भी हो जाए. And the other is CLAT has always been inconsistent, isn't it? So we have to be ready for everything. That's what I will say. You have to be ready with everything. Surprises can be there. Now, you don't get surprised in the actual examination paper. That is why the variation in terms of difficulty level, variation in terms of number of passages are being introduced. So this time, the mock had 6 passages. More on that when Siddharth sir will talk about it, the sectional analysis. He is already there. Welcome, Siddharth. I'll quickly cover this part and then we'll go ahead. So GK 20.325, legal reasoning. Last time से तो चलो फिर वापस आ गए हैं ट्रैक पे. Now the average score is 28.33. Familiar topics, isn't it? Tort law, all those, they were familiar topics. Easy passages out there, covered out there. Logical reasoning is what surprised me. I'm really happy, really surprised. I'm sure Siddharth sir will be very happy. But we all understand this was hell of an easy paper. 22 is the average, 7.24 in quantitative techniques. And if I talk about overall, that's 99.14. So if you ask me what would be a probable cutoff if this was the actual paper of CLAT, then for NLS, this would be nearly around 103, 104 kind of, I would say. Why I'm saying so? Because some of the OMRs, as I mentioned, will get scanned tomorrow. Today we are looking at a total data of 1532. So that's what I look at it, and that's how I look at it. So far, what I would say quickly is it was hell of an easy paper. Now we'll move into the sectional insight, and Siddharth sir is already here. So I'll directly move the slide and let Siddharth sir take it over.
Amiten sir, do you remember what was the CDC 2 ka top 100 score? I think it was in 80s.
It was in somewhere around 89-90 only.
Yeah, 80s,
वहाँ पर
right?
वहाँ पर
89,
लीगल का
90.
तो परफॉर्मेंस बहुत ही हिला था ना. लीगल वाज समवेयर अराउंड
Correct,
22
correct.
23 एवरेज.
Right, right. So, good to see. I mean, of course, the paper was easy, and we need to understand why it was easy, right? Because if you only give the passages of English section to someone without the question, then passages are not very easy. Passages are challenging. Particularly, I will tell you passage number 1, passage number 2. These passages are not very easy. Passage number 2 is definitely something which will go above the head of most of the students, right? Ontological and epistemological, so philosophy, hardcore philosophy passage it was, but the options were something, or the questions were something which were straightforward. Options were easy pick me kind of option. So this was one of the paper of its kind wherein you can easily apply elimination technique. It was more like, if I'm not wrong, CLAT 23 or 24, I mean 24 25 to bahut easy tha. CLAT 23 also had one section which had a lot of questions which one could have eliminated. So if you want to practice the technique of elimination, then this is the kind of paper which serves the purpose beautifully for practicing. In the English section, there were 6 passages, and why we did 6 passages, because when the CLAT changed the format in the first or second year, till the second year I think they used to have 6 passages, then they reduced it to 5, and then now to 4. So we don't know whether it will be 6 or 4. They have never said that they will stick to the number of passages that they have been giving for last 2 years.
In fact,
So
I
it
would
can be
interrupt
5, it
here.
can be 6.
Yeah, I would like to interrupt here. What you are saying is if any one of us can go, any of the student goes to the consortium website and look at the examination scheme, it is not an absolute number. It is in ranges actually. So
Correct.
English will have 20, anywhere between 22 to 26. Similar for logic. So they have not given an absolute number. Well, they have been sticking to that for last 2 years. But what you are saying is what is given on their website as well. So I think they must consider. एंड आप वही बता रहे हो तो आई थिंक स्टूडेंट शुड आल्सो कंसीडर कि कोई ऐसा तो है नहीं एब्सोल्यूट नंबर वो तो हो सकता है नेक्स्ट टाइम 26 देते हैं 5 ही पैसेज दें
But despite the fact, the heartening thing is students have scored well. So they have not panicked by looking at 6 passages. Hai. And not that the length of the passages was short. ऐसा भी नहीं था कि if we are keeping number of passages high, then we have reduced the length. Length was also okay. But as I said, the options were pretty much direct in nature. That's why the students would have scored well. Good to see that. Any question which they found difficult, I think you said question number 12.
आई सेड टू एड्रेस मुझे लगा कि सब में लोएस्ट जो ग्राफ है ना सो जस्ट टू रिमाइंड
Right,
आई
that
थिंक
is 12. Although that is
या
also not difficult. Which of the following best captures Victor Frankenstein's character as portrayed in the passage? So he has been portrayed as someone who is obsessed with something, but then he becomes afraid of that. So option is D. I think no issues with that. So very high attempts. Good to see that almost all questions have attempt above 70%, and also the accuracy is more than 50% in all the questions, and that is why top 100 have scored 20 marks or so, right? I struggle with identifying the source from which passage is taken. Is there any question on that in this particular test? I don't think that there
No,
is no
I
question.
don't. There was one
No,
question
there is
number
not.
20. Question number 20, which is likely the passage is most likely excerpted from which of the following type of publications.
Yeah,
So,
there is.
yeah, yeah. So that's passage number 5.
Yeah, so if you see, it is a newspaper op-ed expressing a personal viewpoint. Can be, but little bit more technical as far as newspaper op-ed is concerned. A general interest magazine targeting a mass audience. This is definitely not something which is meant for mass audience. A current affairs journal offering analytical political reporting. The safest option to mark. The safest option to mark is that it is about current affairs. It is on political reporting. Detailed may it has discussed what is happening in the world. So C is the best option to mark in that one. Okay. So maybe we can move to next sections.
Yeah. So just a quick reminder. So for those who may have joined for the first time today for this analysis session, which we do on fortnightly basis, guys, when you look at this graph, when you look at these bars, the blue bars represent the percentage of total students out of 1532 whose data is available. So percentage of total students who attempted this question. So like you see here, it's almost 95% of the 1532 students attempted this question, and this is assuming nearly 80%. So this means the orange bars reflect the percentage within this who got it right actually. So I would say most students have taken their chances. Thoda accuracy hit hua hai. Otherwise, generally the graph is the other way. Most of the time you'll find the orange ones, especially. But this time I would say thoda sa kahin kahin accuracy hit hua hai. But nevertheless, we'll maintain that it was an easy section and that performance there. देखो टॉपर्स की जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, I'm not saying toppers, top 100 की जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, they it's not about anything extra actually. They are basically, if I say the effort is there, they analyze, they try to rectify their mistakes next time, not to commit the same mistake. Some of the things which might appear to be very silly, that is what is they are taking care of. चलो मूव करते हैं जीके पे. करंट अफेयर्स गुड परफॉर्मेंस 20 प्लस का एवरेज है. नाउ व्हाट आई एम सरप्राइज्ड इज व्हाई इफ आई लुक एट द पेपर व्हाई anybody would miss out on question number 25. Question number 25 का आंसर तो पैसेज में ही था ना, and this is following the trend which is there, has been there for last 2 years in the GK section of CLAT. The passages which they are asking, at least 2 of them, they'll have direct questions from the passage itself. So if I look at this question number 25, the answer, which is B, which is the name of the countries, it is already given in the first para of the passage. So I'm really surprised those 10% of the students who missed it. Why they have missed it, I'm really surprised over there actually. Similarly, if I talk about question number 2, why not 100% attempt over here? Question number 26, ये भी हो सकता था, बिल्कुल passage में ही आंसर hidden था यहाँ पे. The other questions I can say, because a lot of you would think कि why I should read economic passages, project nexus, banking industry से consortium ने तो आज तक पूछा नहीं है, ये आएगा भी नहीं आएगा. But देखो, you cannot say it can happen at any, and GK is anyways unpredictable. Similarly, if I talk about 31, ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 31, सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट वाला, ये तो हिस्ट्री पढ़ते आए ना. वी हैव बीन लर्निंग अबाउट दिस इन स्कूल. It's not about 11th and 12th history, it is about 8th 9th 10th history. You have learned about this, everybody has studied about this actually. Again, same thing, first and second question. It's the first is hidden in the is there in the passage. Second is what you would definitely recall. You don't forget everything, isn't it? So sometimes please understand, when you look at those passages like civil disobedience, जो थोड़ा historical है, static है completely, the trend has been for the last 2 years, the at least for a couple of questions the answer is there in the passage itself. तो टाइम निकाल के पढ़ के उसको किया जा सकता है एक्चुअली. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट क्वेश्चन नंबर 40 जो था, क्वेश्चन नंबर 40 जो था वो था, हु कैन डायरेक्ट द एनआईए टू इन्वेस्टिगेट अ शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस. नाउ एनआईए वाज बैक इन पिक्चर बिकॉज ऑफ द पहलगाम अटैक, तो इसको ये नहीं बोल सकते थे कि आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट है, तो ये पता होना चाहिए था. ऑफ कोर्स इट इज द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एक्चुअली, so this should people should know actually. Similarly, if I talk about question number 45, now this was a difficult one, I'll not say, because I know many of you may not be getting into the depth of things related to NASA, but so many things happening, Axiom. So of course, when we are talking about these space explorations and all, we should learn, because NASA is one of the organization which is always at the forefront. तो NASA के developments जो होंगे, that you should definitely remember, वो पता होने चाहिए, उसको तो पढ़ के रखो क्योंकि definitely पूछा जा सकता है. And it was a good selection of passage. Then about D. Gukesh actually, of course many of you would be ignoring this, तो probably लगता है कि यार sports में enter करे भी ना करे, but some of these are key events actually, because when you talk about his performance, so that is something which is very very important. कई सालों के बाद ये चीजें हो रही हैं, so it makes that more important actually, and it was definitely an important event. So I think the selection of the events was quite good. Those who have not been able to do well, I think you need to get into that gear actually, where you'll have to spend some time over there for GK. Legal, again, overall quite good performance. एक दो questions अगर हटा दें, but question number 53, Siddharth, any particular reason you could state over here?
Just let me check. आप continue करो, मैं एक बार check कर लेता हूँ.
Sure. So this is about that rescue helicopter वाला था जो lands in private orchard. So overall, if you look at this mock, we have not the data is not saying that you have difficult questions. This is all about this mock, because how we define the difficulty level. So anything which is less than 30% accuracy, that definitely is the difficult question. But if you look at here, in the entire mock, you will not find this scenario. And 30 to 70, we say, okay, that's a medium difficulty level question. I think थोड़ा risk ले सकते थे पढ़े होते तो. Anything where accuracy is 70% and above, like if you look at here and all, these are easy questions. These are easy questions. Now, for those students who basically missed out on these questions, these bigger towers, you must introspect why you missed out here actually, because these questions were not supposed to be missed out. I can agree here, I can agree here. Here accuracy has been hit actually, but here if I talk about again the accuracy, but for these towers which are there, 70% and above the accuracy level, if you have missed out on the question, I think it's time you introspect about this. That is something which I would say. So ये बहुत important है. Every mock when you write, you analyze, you try to understand. I think Chaitanya बार बार पूछ रहा है कि what could have been the cutoff for tier 1 colleges. Now when I talk about tier 1 colleges, let me take the top 3 up to Calcutta. Then in this particular mock, the cutoff would have been easily around 95 for the top 3, 95, 96, nothing less than that. In fact, I would say 96 to definitely hota. 81 is a good or a bad score. Don't rate yourself, Gyan. please understand it also depends on what stage your preparation level is actually. So don't judge on that basis. 81, I would say, is not a bad score, but of course, considering the difficulty level of the mock, how others have performed, you could have definitely done better. And that would only happen when you continuously write the mock. If you're doing so, that's great. Keep on writing mocks and keep on analyzing your performance. Learn every time what mistakes I'm doing, which I can avoid next time, and that itself will bring an improvement of 4 to 5 marks to everyone actually. So that is very. You may say Phoenix that first of all यार ये समझ में नहीं आता. आई एम श्योर ये तुम्हारा नाम नहीं है. ये मुझे आज तक समझ में नहीं आया कि हाइड क्यों करते हैं हम अपनी आइडेंटिटी को. ऐसा क्या करके आ रहे हैं दूसरी जगह पे कि आइडेंटिटी हाइड करनी पड़ती है. First of all, I don't understand, but that's how Gen Z behaves anyways. So it can happen. You cannot remember anything actually, by the way. You cannot cram. The paper is not the way the way the paper is designed now. It's not about cramming, and that is something which was happening till 2019. अब नहीं होता है. अब cramming करके आप ये बोल रहे हो कि how does one remember? You'll have, the revision is the only way out. So you'll have to keep on revising actually. Anything else which I would be missing? Okay. Source here I'm talking about. Get off my. Okay, Mahendra, I'll check that why this has happened. Actually, please do consult your center once again as well. Why they have not conducted? You should definitely be asking that question to them, and I'll also check at my end as well. Is there one more question, and then we'll go back? Is there a chance for 14 December for CLAT exam? I would say just 5%. I don't think CLAT will be delayed that much, but हो सकता है. I don't know. मेरा hunch, और मैं तो शुरू से, if you look at your test series schedule, which was created in December, you know about your schedule from December. warm up mock शुरू किया था जब हमने, तब भी देखोगे तो स्केड्यूल में मैंने आईलेट का लास्ट मॉक 1 दिसंबर को रखा है, एंड माय assumption was very clear. 30th is going to happen. 30th को ही होना था, और वो बिल्कुल होता हुआ दिख रहा है. That is what I foresee. Okay, 91 is definitely, I would say, a good score. Don't worry too much.
क्लैट के बाद करेंगे, एलेट के बाद क्लैट करेंगे तो दे वोंट बी एबल टू टेक आउट द रिजल्ट अ डे बिफोर एलेट ना. सो लॉजिकली
and give that shock to the students. रात को शॉक दे देते हैं, अगले दिन पेपर जाने वाला है तो.
Amit, I think question number 53 would have confused students a lot on whether it was a private necessity or a public necessity. So I'm sure that it is that's what would have caused this error, and let us give that benefit of doubt to the student, because that I personally feel is a bit more advanced concept of law, right? So वो दिख रहा है that would be the only reason wherein students have committed mistakes.
Let me have the liberty to disagree with you, Siddharth. In fact, मैं होता तो ये क्वेश्चन करता ही नहीं. नेगेटिव मार्किंग ही क्यों लाना है? अगर कंफ्यूजिंग हो गया था तो नेगेटिव मार्किंग लगाने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी. यहाँ पे तो सीधा 1.25 का इम्पैक्ट आ गया ना. So Haru, you should have left this question. ये strategy का part होता है. Please understand, strategy का part होता है. Okay, logical reasoning. Siddharth sir, आपके लिए तो happy वाला situation है. 22 का average score है, 24 में top 100.
It is good to see. I mean, at least now what I am clear with is this one thing, that students have attempted it. I was under the impression that a lot of students don't even attempt logical reasoning. But this is a good thing to know that students have attempted logical reasoning, and that perhaps will give them that and confidence that if this section is attempted properly, then it is scoring. Yeah, we can say that 22 is high. We could have made it more difficult. But if you see the trend in CLAT, the logical reasoning section, of course they commit a lot of mistakes. So if barring the mistakes they commit, I think 23, 24 was this logical reasoning section was scoring, right? So it was easy, no doubt about it. Passages were lengthy. Length of the passages was good. There were 4 passages. I really doubt that there was any question. 106 I can see. Which of the following cannot be inferred? Yeah, that is something that the students have got wrong. It is cannot be inferred.
पता है मुझे क्या लग रहा है यहाँ पे होगा कैन नॉट बी की जगह कैन बी. जल्दबाजी में कैन बी हुआ होगा. आई थिंक वो स्टूडेंट ने जल्दबाजी में
तो डेफिनेटली हुआ होगा. कुछ लोगों का तो
Yes.
डेफिनेटली हुआ होगा, अदरवाइज आई थिंक the options are bad. I only one option is slightly better than the other. So there are a lot of questions, wherein we create three good options, and then you have to choose one out of the three good options. Then there are a lot of questions where we deliberately create four bad options, and you have to choose the best out of that worst four or bad four options. And you see the actual exam also behaves like that, not for all the questions. But then there are several questions in CLAT wherein a student might feel that their answer is not ideal one, but perhaps the best out of the four available choice. So that might be the reason for 106 question. I can't see any other reason beyond that.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's move on to the final one, which is quantitative techniques. So good, 7.5 is the average out there. I think question number 110. Now, what surprised me, there was an issue here. The first option, which was 23 out of 51, actually it has to be 23 out of 102. So this should have been double. But when I looked at the data, what surprised me was दिस वाज ऑप्शन ए बेसिकली इसको बहुत कम लोगों ने अटेम्प्ट किया था सबसे ज्यादा डी मार्क हुआ था आउट ऑफ 1532 ऑलमोस्ट 600 had marked D actually. So I'll not give any benefit over here, but the data clearly shows accuracy has been hit. But then मतलब ये attempt ही नहीं किया था लोगों ने. Somehow they went for D actually. So just make this correction, guys. So this was 23 out of 100, 23 upon 102 actually. But look at once again, except for this, and this is across mocks. The whole idea of me showing you data, of us showing this data to you, is you have to let go of your fear, boss. There has
Milian,
to be
I
no
think it
fear.
is right.
Just what
23
you're
upon
doing.
51 is right.
No, actually, the calculation was done. We'll debate that. So, in fact, Prasan also pointed out
Thick.
today. Okay. So,
Okay.
there was some data. Yeah. But,
Okay. Great.
anyways, I think what is important here, guys, those who are not, and please understand, you cannot win this battle, which is called CLAT, without QT. Every section is now important. You will have to get your scores, and QT is doable. And this was easy. Why I'm saying so? इस बार देखो वैसे भी छोटे छोटे थे लेंथ ऑफ द केसलेट्स और हर केसलेट पे आपको तीन तीन क्वेश्चन पूछे गए थे तो इजी था. ऐसा नहीं था कि एक ही पे अगर वो सॉल्व नहीं हुआ तो हम कर नहीं पाते. इनफैक्ट अगर नहीं होता तो क्विकली मूव करने का टाइम था इसमें. यू वुड हैव इजीली मूव टू द नेक्स्ट वन. एटलीस्ट यू हैड मोर caselets to solve actually, and then get answers to the question actually. So your approach is something which you'll have to. Then most important is आपको अपना fear हटाना होगा. So what should be the action plan? Now we are on 9th of July today. We are talking about 30th November. The exam is to happen. Assume that date. So we are talking about almost 4.5 months now for the CLAT 2026 examination, and I believe this is what we should be doing. Of course, we'll add more as we discuss. You know your schedule now. The frequency has increased. Now it is 2 mocks per week now. Your analysis has to continue. Write mocks. Do not miss out on any of the mocks. Please write all the mocks. And this is time now to go back to your previous mocks. You have done so many mocks. Countdown 3, Prime 14, 15, 16, I think almost there. So almost 20 year plus 20. You have taken almost 25, 26 mocks of CLAT itself so far, and not talking about even AILT. So that's more than 30 mocks already taken. Those who have been consistent, I think it's now time to go back. Half the mocks have been covered, half are on way. Next 4 months, you'll get another 30 mocks. Please understand, you cannot leave your previous performances behind. Why I'm saying so? Because they are good revision tool, good for GK, good for other sections as well. Redo them, but especially for GK, you'll have to do this. That's very very important. So इसको definitely करना है तो ये definitely करना है तो ये revision करो. Anything else, Siddharth, you feel I may have missed out here?
Now I think we have covered all the things. I'm sure
Okay.
that these guys would be attending RTNLU
Yes,
online.
I've already mentioned that, and I've already and let me reiterate that once again. So before we close the session for today, ये देखो RTNLU जो है ये 3 phases में conduct होगा. First phase, which is very very important, because your second phase will be a continuity from phase 1. So there's a small mistake जो सर ने बोला था, जिसको हटा देता हूँ मैं. सो एक नया एलिमेंट आएगा, बट लेट मी टॉक अबाउट दैट ओवरऑल फर्स्ट. So race to NLU is one of the most awaited events of the year. This time we are starting it early in July itself. Two reasons for that. Number one reason, of course, we realized for the last 2 years that when we are talking about, largely we are talking about strategy, helping you develop your final strategy. So you need some time to do that. Actually, that's very very important. So starting in July helps you fine tune your strategy, make improvements over there. Second is, this time we don't want to take it to September, August. There are certain dates where you have festivals, holidays. Then September you'll have your half yearly exams. October again we'll have festivals. So that's why we are starting it early. Now the first phase, which is the head start, is on 20th July, which is a Sunday, next to next Sunday, and this will be an entire day event. We'll start the sessions sharp 9:30. Login has to happen by 9:15 for every student. The session will continue till 4:30 in the evening, section by section. We'll have strategy session overall, section by section. And something very important, which will some of you may have witnessed in some of the mocks, the solutions, but Siddharth sir is going to talk about the B strategy actually, and I'm sure you will be definitely eager to know what exactly is B strategy. And once you have understood your reading part, reading comprehension, legal, and logic will be taken care of. So await that. So 20th July, registration is mandatory, and to ensure that my students do not have to look here and there, what we have done is we have activated the registration link in your my zone itself. All you have to do is, after the session, log into your my zone, click on register button, and you are registered. On 19th morning you will receive a mail with the platform link. This is not your regular Zoom platform, by the way. No recording will be happening. Don't इवन थिंक दैट दे विल बी रिकॉर्डिंग कि अमितेन सर ब्लफ दे रहे हैं. कोई रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं होगा. ये थर्ड पार्टी प्लेटफॉर्म है. यू हैव अ न्यू एक्सपीरियंस ऑल टुगेदर. सो विल कवर master class, we'll talk about tricks, strategy. You'll have Siddharth Mehta sir, who has been in the top 100 earlier. We have Rahul Reddy sir, AIR 3 couple of years back. Prasann Kamath, the quant expert. We'll have Vishnu sir, AIR 50 this year, and many more. In fact, all the top mentors will be here for you guys. So this is one thing, one hell of a session will not you are not going to miss. Thereafter, starting 26th of July, we'll go to almost 35 cities across the country. You'll go know the schedule over here itself on your my zone and your website over here. You'll get to know, if even if you have attended online, if you get the opportunity, do go ahead, attempt offline. Now, who is this for? This is for every LST student, irrespective of your program. Online classes में हो, टेस्ट सीरीज में हो, फिजिकल क्लासरूम सेंटर्स पे हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. सबको ये सेशन अटेंड करना है. यू डोंट प्लान एनीथिंग आउट. कुछ भी हो जाए, घर से कंफर्ट है, आराम से अटेंड करो. कहीं बाहर नहीं जाना है. 20 मिनट्स का लंच ब्रेक मिलेगा, तो उससे ज्यादा नहीं मिलेगा. तो पूरे दिन स्ट्रैटेजी सेशंस पे बात होगी. Please understand this. Okay, so I think we are almost here. Couple of questions actually. I am following Indian Express, but I have seen that maximum toppers follow the Hindu. I don't think that's a matter of concern. You may want to switch to Hindu, you can, but I don't think that's a problem. Indian Express is equally a very good newspaper, actually. But personally, if you ask me, I would recommend Indian Express, just because some people you may have come across, they are reading Hindu. You should not. Your comfort level with the style of writing is very very important. At the end of the day, the news will remain the same. The coverage will be more or less the same. So it's more important that. It's more important that you look at how comfortable with you are with the writing style of Hindu, and that should be there. In a few center, mocks are not conducted like 3 Sunday. Which is the center? Please let me know. We'll talk to them, and you should go and ask why you are not asking them. I'm sure this is not happening, but if this is happening, this is a point of worry for me. Please tell me. Or ये CLAT
I
confidential
think,
क्या हो?
Amiten sir, definitely this is a relevant query, but I have to point out one thing. We should ignore the questions from names like CAT, CLAT confidential.
Yes. Yeah. ठीक है, I
So
think so. That brings us to the end of the session. Thank you, Siddharth, for joining in.
I
I
will
know
I
you
will add
are
one thing, Amitin sir.
sure, sure,
Just
sure.
one thing about that Indian Express and Hindu wala cheez. See, ultimately, if you are reading it for improvement in your reading skills, that is English, logical, and reading, then what I will suggest is that you can keep switching on the switching from one paper to the other paper. Maybe 1 month you can go for Indian Express, then the Hindu, and then some other, because that will give you diverse feeling of the writing style. As far as general knowledge is concerned, I think any one newspaper will be good enough. So what is your purpose, that is important. If you want to get feel of diversity, then I will suggest that maybe you can look at reading a particular paper for few days and then switching to some other newspaper. That will give you more diversity as far as the writing style is concerned.
ओके, वन क्वेश्चन डेफिनेटली पिक कर लेते हैं सर। ऑफलाइन क्लास नहीं होगी क्योंकि आरटीएनएल से रिलेटेड कोई ऑफलाइन क्लास नहीं होगी, कोई ऑनलाइन क्लास इसके अलावा नहीं होगी। 20th July is all about RTNLU. Do consult your center for the mock date. I have already instructed the center. Mock will either happen on Saturday or it can happen on Monday. You may take it online later, but 9:30 to 4:30, 9:15 to 4:30, it's all about RTNLU. That day nothing else happens. Okay. ठीक है गाइस, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग इन टुडे इवनिंग एंड स्पेशल थैंक्स टू सिद्धार्थ सर। फंस गए थे फिर भी टाइम निकाल के पहुंच गए, सो थैंक यू सो मच। विल सी यू लेटर गाइस, सो फॉर द नेक्स्ट मॉक। थैंक यू सो मच एंड ऑल द बेस्ट।